chat. All right, let's get to this. The competition in the AFC is tough. We've talked a lot about the other AFC North teams, but Mike, today we're talking about the other teams in the AFC that the Browns might have to potentially battle with, maybe as a wild card, or certainly if they make the playoffs in the playoffs.
Yeah, so how we're going to do this is I'm going to give you guys a team, and these are not the AFC North teams. Bull just mentioned we've done a lot of AFC North preview. We'll do our official picks next week, but this is just to get a little feeler out there for how we look at the competitiveness of the AFC. And Jason alluded to something in our pre-show meeting, and Jason, you never sent me that link, so I'm going to ask you to mention the projected win totals based on this simulation, and you can explain that. But let's start with the team who is the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, probably the biggest threat in the AFC, the undisputed kings of the conference.
Probably about it.
The undisputed kings till someone knocks them off.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the Chiefs entering this season? Are they as good, better, worse than last year?
Do they still have Patrick Mahomes?
I do believe they still have Patrick Mahomes.
At worst, they're just as good. Because as long as they have him, they're going to be the favorites to win the Super Bowl pretty much every year. I've never seen anything like it. I think if he stays healthy, he's going to be the greatest football player that's ever lived. And the greatest football player that ever lived just retired in Tom Brady. There's no doubt in my mind that Patrick Mahomes will be the best player ever. I've never seen anybody this good, this quick. I don't even think anybody's been close. Maybe Dan Marino was close this quick. But so as long as he's there, they're fine. I mean, what have they lost? They lost their they lost one of their starting offensive linemen to the Bengals. They lost one of their starting safeties to the Browns. Did they lose anything else? Chris Jones is holding out.
I do have a proposed trade from a fan on Chris Jones if you want to hear that real quick.
Go ahead.
This is from Professor Chaos. By the way, we have 2 super chats. We'll get back to the Chiefs.
Did you mention this one yesterday?
No, it's a new one. A different one.
Oh, okay.
But Will Strong said Joe Burrow hasn't played anything against Cleveland yet. We'll get to this trade offer. This from Professor Chaos. Do you think the Chiefs would accept Denzel Ward, a 2nd and a 5th for Chris Jones?
No.
Okay. No. I just want to we're talking about Chris Jones. Figured we throw it out there.
The Denzel contract's going to become problematic with these concussions.
Yes.
It's not
G
going
and
to be
Jason?
good very well. Go ahead, Mike.
How do you guys feel about the Chiefs?
I think they're good.
I mean, what's there to say? Until proven otherwise, they're the best team in football.
It's the Chiefs. Yeah, like that's like you put them at the top of the food chain in the AFC, and they're great. They have the coach, they have the quarterback, they got the receiver. They should figure out the Chris Jones thing. They got a dominant defensive lineman, and they always find a running back. Isaiah Pacheco.
I thought he was good last year.
I thought he was great last year.
7th round pick.
Yeah. And here's the thing that I like about the Chiefs that other teams don't have. They've been relatively together so much that in September, when other teams are kind of figuring out because you ain't playing nobody in the preseason, the Kansas City Chiefs are already on week 1, ready to go, everybody's on the same page. And one of the biggest advantages that they have is they actually write it down, make it clear that their goal is to get home field advantage. That's what they want. They live off that. Now, look, I would love to see the Kansas City Chiefs have to play 3 games to get to the Super Bowl. Would love it. But they come out, they get the first round bye, and now you got to go to the Arrowhead. I think other teams should have that same type of energy. And if they did, I think it would put the Kansas City Chiefs in a precarious situation and having to play on the road and having to play because you got attrition that can happen with that. So for me, I think they're very smart about that and they go for it every year. And basically, if they get home field advantage, I mean, they're almost unbeatable. Yeah. They've shown that.
Jason, any final thoughts on the Chiefs, or should we move on to the next team?
They're really good. Move on to the next team. I'm trying to send something to Mikey in real time, really quickly.
Go ahead, Mike.
Jason told me beforehand. I meant to say that last night. I forgot. In our pre-show meeting, Jason goes, "I'm gonna send it to you right now." It is 11:45.
It's ADD, man. I legitimately have
guys simulations.
I legitimately have ADD. I don't know what you want from me.
Who's the next team?
Okay, next up. A team that Jason told us in this simulation, and by the way, the Chiefs in the simulation Jason's referring to that he's yet to send to me that I will put in the show once I get it. The Chiefs had the highest projection of the 1,000.
I mean, I can't send you the article because you don't subscribe to The Athletic. So you can't see the article.
By the way, I'm curious. So last year, obviously the Chiefs beat the Bengals in the AFC Championship game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet I rooted for the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. Is that crazy?
No.
If the Chiefs had beaten the Browns in the AFC Championship game, would you have rooted for the Chiefs? I just love Patrick Mahomes.
It depends on who they're playing.
It's almost worse if the team that beat you loses
Yeah.
because you're haunted that, like, well, we could have won that. You know what I mean?
right.
So it's better that the team that beat you won the whole thing.
And that's happened to the Bengals 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And I watch the game different. Like, I just watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could point out somebody made a good play or swing or momentum or whatever. Good catch, by the way.
Yeah.
But they definitely. I don't have a problem rooting for anybody. Wouldn't say I'm rooting. I'm just watching the game. So
All right. Okay,
right.
next team, Mike.
I got Jason's text. Jason, thank you.
Yeah.
Next up is a team in this simulation has the same projected win total as the Browns. That is the Los Angeles Chargers. How do you think they match up with Cleveland?
Well, match up with Cleveland?
Yeah, I'm going to mix
Like,
them up a
are
little
they
bit.
better? Are they worse?
Yeah, what do you think? And on a scale of 1 to 10, if you think Cleveland is X, whereas
Well, we didn't
Los
do that with the
Angeles?
Chiefs.
Well, you all agreed they're the cream of the crop.
Yeah. How do the Chargers match up with the Browns? I think it's very close.
Well, the Chargers have beaten them the last 2 times they've played, but they've been very good games.
Very good. The Browns choked that game last year, big time.
Well, they choked the game in L.A.
That's true. That's right.
They should have won that one.
Listen, Justin, the Chargers are another team like the Browns with a ton to prove.
Absolutely.
Justin Herbert was anointed in that top group of quarterbacks, and unlike the rest of the top group of quarterbacks, he hasn't won a single game that's mattered. 0 playoff wins in 3 years in the league. Now, is it all his fault? Of course not. How many points did he put up in that playoff game against Jacksonville? Would they have 35?
I think it was 27-30 was the final score. But
Okay,
it was
well-
certainly enough points to win a playoff
Right,
game.
but you could also argue, well, as his defense was collapsing, maybe he should have been able to score one more touchdown in the second half.
Facts.
When you're that great a quarterback, you got to be able to do that.
It was 31-30, by the way. 31-30.
Yeah, Austin Eckler, to me, one of the most underrated backs in the league. I think he's a very good player. He's not like a monster between the tackles, but he's a great pass catcher. Mike Williams and the underrated, speaking of underrated, still good, even though he's old, Keenan Allen in L.A. I mean, they're a really good team. I don't love their coach. I think they're neck and neck with the Browns, but I'm leaning towards picking the Browns as a playoff team and having the Chargers out. So I guess I'll put the Browns just ahead of the Chargers.
I got the Browns ahead of the Chargers, and here's why. You guys brought up the point they choked the game away last year with Jacoby Brissett. The year before, if he hits Odell Beckham Jr. a few more times, they win that game. He was wide open. They kind of threw that one down the drain a little bit. And when I look at it, I think that the Browns defense is upgraded. I think Austin Eckler is a nice back. Mike Williams, I always seem to end up with him on my fantasy team, and I hate it. I don't know why. He's just so up and down.
He's very boomer bust.
Very boomer bust. But I just like the Browns defense better. I like the Browns offense a little bit better. I think they are neck and neck, but I think that Deshaun Watson, again.
Now, the Chargers defense is more proven it than the Browns defense.
Yes, they've proven it more.
Yeah.
But now that I like the fact that the Browns have added pieces. I think the Browns have one of the best defensive lines. And I just think Deshaun Watson, this is the game, one of the games of the people that you look at Herbert versus Watson, and if Watson is back, you'll start to see people say, well, is Justin Herbert really better than Deshaun Watson? I don't know, because look at the way Watson is playing. So I got to project that I like the Browns better than Chargers.
These are the types of games that are coin toss, and a good quarterback can win you that game.
Now, they're not playing each other.
No, I know.
But
but I'm just saying, like, the Browns lost those games to the Chargers because of the quarterback play, really, in essence.
Yeah.
In both of those years, and the Chargers had the better quarterback. So the Browns theoretically should be better. But real quick, I want to mention, we've talked about this projection. So Austin Mock is our guy at the NFL, our guy at The Athletic, who runs this NFL betting model. And he did like 10,000
simulations.
Thank you. Simulations of the season. And it came out with an average win total for each team. And so this is what I just sent to Mikey. He had the Chiefs number 1 in the AFC at 12 wins. The Bills were second at 10.7. The Ravens third.
Stunning.
At 10.7.
Computer
So I guess
maybe
tied.
broke.
Bills and Ravens tied.
Yeah.
At 10.7. The Bengals were fourth at 10.5. Jaguars 5th at 9.9, and then the Jets, Browns, and Chargers tied at 9.1 for 6th, 7th, and 8th. So according to those projections, one of those three teams obviously are out.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
And then the Dolphins are right there as well at 9. So three teams at 9.1.
We've talked
and the
about
Dolphins
that
at
a
9.
lot. The Jets, the Browns, the Chargers, and the Dolphins, probably 2 of those 4 teams get in.
And we're going to get to those
And
teams
I've been leaning towards the Browns and the Jets as the 2. But
well, and to your, I don't know if I'm going out of order or stealing Mike's thunder here, but you've been down on the Steelers all summer. And this projection has them, this simulation has them at 8.3, which would be Tomlin's first losing season. And that has them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th in the AFC, behind Tennessee.
Behind Tennessee.
Which goes to show, no matter how you want to slice and dice it, the AFC top to bottom is unprecedentedly loaded this season.
Yeah, you could argue it's the greatest collection of quarterbacks in one conference ever.
Ever.
Yeah. And Peyton Manning and Tom Brady played together with Phillip Rivers and
Big Ben.
And Big Ben. But, I mean, the quality of quarterbacks in the AFC right now is
12
insane.
teams with 8 wins or more. And I mean,
right.
That's basically 500. I know it's 17
I mean, you got
now.
the 2 terrible teams in the South, right? You got Houston.
All 4 teams in the AFC North, all 4 teams in the AFC East, and 3 teams in the AFC
So
West.
They got what? Who are the Broncos a team without 8 or New England?
Well,
Broncos,
Denver's the next team up, by the way. So let's what Jason, do you have their
What's their projection?
8.2. Denver's 8.2.
Yeah,
So they're right in there, and Denver's their next team. But what do you think of Denver?
I don't like Denver, guys.
I don't like Denver because I don't believe in Sean Payton.
I don't
think
either.
I don't think he's as good of a coach. He had a Hall of Fame quarterback and held on to him as tight as he could for as long as he could. And when Breeze left, Sean was right behind him. So until now, I'll change my if Sean wins with Russell Wilson and turns Russell around. We'll give him his credit. But until then, I think Wilson is shot, and I don't think Sean Payton's that good of a coach.
And he's gone in there very cocky, ripped the former coach that was there, which was lame.
Stupid. There's no good that can come from that.
And I like Javonte Williams, but he's coming off a serious knee injury. They're wide receivers, like big names, but they've been disappointing. They've been
always
injured.
hurt too.
Just
got injured the other day.
What's that?
They're always hurt. Jerry Jeudy just got.
Jerry Judy's out.
I didn't see that.
He got hurt again.
I think he's out for a month.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I don't like their roster.
No.
I just don't.
They're not bad. They're not terrible.
I just like their receivers. The kid from Cortland Sutton. I don't like. It's medium. They got a bunch of medium guys. They're not good or bad. They don't have anybody fast or strong. Like I'm being real general here, but I don't see what I'm saying is I don't see nobody that sticks off the page that says I'm a playmaker. You're gonna have the game plan around me, or it's gonna be a problem. It's just a bunch of guys that are just middle of the road dudes that you could go in there and get a win against. And I just don't like the mix of Peyton and Russ. I just don't.
Do we all think they're going to be under 500? I do.
Broncos?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, next up, this team only has a very nice 6.9 projected wins in the 10,000 simulation project. That is the New England Patriots. Are you guys buying
They stink.
Bill Belichick or no chance in the AFC East?
No.
They don't have a quarterback, and they're playing a really hard division.
All right, we're moving on. That was easy.
Combination.
Mac Jones stinks.
Yeah.
And I just put him out there, but I agree. I'm actually with you guys. Their defense should be better.
They don't have
They do have a really Ramondre Stevenson is a really good back.
But they won't give him the ball as much as they should because they like having a bunch of random guys get touches too for no reason.
They got nothing special at wide receiver, nothing special at tight end. They stink. Go ahead.
I'm with you. Okay, next up, a team that is just below the Browns. The Browns at 9.1. The Miami Dolphins at 9.0. How do the Browns stack up against the Dolphins? I
mean, I like the Chargers. They're on the same plane of teams. I mean, 9.1 and 9.0 is hardly a difference there.
It's hard to take the Browns over the Dolphins. The Dolphins absolutely whipped their ass last year.
Destroyed.
Like one of the most embarrassing games of the season.
With them is can Tua stay healthy?
Right.
And is the guy we saw last year when he was healthy, is that the real deal? Because, they got 2 of the best receivers in the league. I was surprised that they didn't go after Dalvin Cook, or they didn't go after Jonathan Taylor. Maybe they did.
They were one of the teams that did call.
Yeah, but they didn't.
I would give up a first-round pick for Jonathan Taylor if I'm Miami in a second. In a second,
their backfield is going to be a combo of Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, And the kid they drafted, Devin
A-Chain from Texas
A-Chain.
A&M. Who's my guy, by the way? It's my guy.
They don't want to run the ball anyway.
But you want to have the threat at least, no?
They don't even. They're not even going fake in front with you. They want to throw this right.
I hear you, but Tua ain't Mahomes.
If Tua goes down, you still have a chance with Jonathan Taylor and those receivers.
Hey, look.
If Tua goes down now, you don't have a chance.
Right.
Hey, look. I didn't say that was a smart move to throw the ball every play. That's just what they do.
Their defense wasn't very good last year.
Jalen Ramsey's out for a while. I think they try to bolster their back with that. I like Jalen Phillips at end. I think last year the Dolphins beat the brakes out of us because at that point in time the roster and defense was terrible. They could run the ball and pass the ball when they wanted. Then you look at the guy. You got the quarterback in the situation where Jacoby Brissett wasn't a guy that was going to be able to bring you back after you're down 17 points. I think that game got away from him, and that was a game, if you remember, they did that all off of a bye. The Browns had a week to prepare for them, and they smoked them like that.
And they threw up like bull.
Oh, yeah, everywhere. Chicken grease, nasty corn on the cob, koala vomit everywhere.
Koala vomit. Ooh, that's a new level. I'm down. I'm not high on the Dolphins. I think they're like an 8-9, 9-8 team this year. To me, I don't think they're that far from the Browns, but I think the Browns are better. I think the Browns will have a better record than the Dolphins. Go ahead, Mike.
There's a super chat from Always Balling 7 who just wanted us to know that Jalen Waddle was involved in those trade discussions, which is why Miami had no interest.
Well, I wouldn't do that.
I don't know that that's true. Well, no legitimate source put that out there.
I agree. I'm just wanted to read the super chat.
Yeah, that was put out by that clown. I'm not even gonna say his name, who retweets everything. And
I don't know who you're talking about.
I don't know if that's.
There was no way in hell. Hell would freeze over before the Browns. The Dolphins traded Jalen
And I'd
Waddle
say there's no way that
Taylor.
actually happened, but the Colts are run by such idiots between Jim Irsay and Chris Ballard.
Maybe they really did
buffoons,
ask for it,
that they don't know what they're doing, which makes me think, like, by the way, let me give you some advice. Stay away from Anthony Richardson in fantasy leagues.
We're trying to teach Bull how to look into the right camera.
Stay away from Anthony Richardson in fantasy leagues.
Bull looks at himself in the TV monitor
away.
the camera.
You got to move the monitor. Just don't give Bull an option. Put the monitor behind the camera.
He's their number one rushing option on the goal line. Why would you take Anthony Richardson?
Because their offense is going to be so bad, and he's going to turn the ball over a ton as a rookie. They have a bad offensive line.
Right.
They have no running back.
So he's going to have the ball either running or passing every play.
I think they're going to get killed offensively.
What if it's a dynasty league? We should do a
in a dynasty league, yeah.
We should do a dynasty
I'm in one.
league.
Dynasty league, I'd take
But
them.
we should. Our league should be a dynasty. Why not?
That's really complicated.
Why?
I mean,
we barely have people that know how to play regular fantasy.
Yeah,
well,
Let's keep it simple.
The fantasy IQ is not up where it needs to be.
I don't know if we have a high fantasy IQ in this.
We got a couple more teams I want to get to. This is one of the teams that in Jason's mock simulation, and I say Jason, it's not actually
I had
Jason,
nothing
he
to do
just
with
shared
this.
it.
Yeah.
But the Buffalo Bills, 10.7 projected wins. Are
Everybody's
you guys
down on
confident
the-
that Buffalo's still in that same tier with KC and Cincinnati, or do you think they've taken a step back?
I think they're right there. I'd put them third of the three, but I think people are too down on Buffalo this year. Maybe because they've
It
lost,
does feel like it's swung too far.
right? Like
the
they
other
were
way.
getting maybe a little overhyped for a couple of years, and now it's like we got to push them down.
And normally that's when they show. That's when that team
right.
arrives, right?
Now they haven't done it. They've won some playoff games. It's not like the Chargers,
Right.
But they've never won that. Oh, now they're this another level playoff game.
I actually think the Browns, if you ask me, they match up the best against the Bills, right? The Bills are the most predictable between the Bengals and the Chiefs. They have the most animosity on their roster. Like if Stephon Diggs does not get the ball 100 times, I feel like he just gets mad. Like they don't have a running game. Josh Allen will turn the ball over. Right, he'll throw 2-3 picks. He led the league in interceptions, and they use him way too much in the run game.
Yeah, Singletary's not on the team anymore, by the way, Mike.
Yeah, he's not there. Von Miller is hurt.
Mike, Devin Singletary not on the team anymore. Mike's locked into something.
Singletary is not on the team anymore.
Yeah.
No, James Cook's their starting running back.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at them, if they got to play the Bills, I like the matchup because I just think the Browns match up better defensively now. They can move the ball and they can use the ball control game. I like the Browns' chances against the Bills better than the Bengals and the Chiefs.
They were in that game last year. That was the weird game in Detroit.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of the details, but I remember I was there. But they were in it. Like, they were right there competitive with Buffalo until the end. 2
busts on the goal line. I think Tyvis really cleared up both of those.
That's the game I wrote. They had to fire. Like, that was it. It's time to fire Joe Woods.
Yeah. They couldn't get lined up.
Obviously, Josh Allen's a great player.
Yes.
He takes,
but he does turn it over too much.
He turns it over too much, and they put too much on him. Another
team that could use Jonathan Taylor.
What'll be interesting is they drafted a tight end in the first round whose name's escaping me right now. And tight ends don't often make an impact as rookies.
Dalton Kincaid, by the way.
But everybody's really high on this guy. They think because they don't have a second pass catcher that's very good. And a lot of people think he's going to be make an impact as a rookie. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. The Bills are still really good.
Yes.
And they're a team that's proven they can win a lot of games and at least win a playoff game every year. Go ahead, Mike.
Mary Kay, by the way, just tweeted out 26 seconds ago, Denzel Ward still in concussion protocol, will not practice today, so that's a situation we will monitor.
Okay. You don't start really worrying until early next week, but
just want to throw it out there.
Yeah, but
hey, before we do our next team, I got to get a read in real quick.
Good.
So if you guys don't mind, let me remind everybody that if you are looking for Browns gear this upcoming season, the only place to shop for Browns gear is fanatics.com/UCSS. If you use that link, fanatics.com/UCSS, get all the same deals you would normally on Fanatics. You just help us out on the back end. You get elf gear just like G. Bush is rocking, hats, sweatshirts, jerseys, T-shirts, long sleeves, whatever you need. You can find it at fanatics.com/UCSS.
That's where I got this at, Fanatics.
It's beautiful. I actually bought some stuff the other day there, and they're pretty damn good deals. Next team, Bull. The New York Jets.
That's
and the graphics you guys see, for everyone saying that's not accurate, the graphics are last year's leaders. So you're going to see Zach Wilson on this graphic.
No, I didn't say it was inaccurate. I was just saying.
No, I know. We had some people in the chat being like, he's not there anymore. We understand. This was last year's
sorry.
leaders,
I threw you guys under the bus.
This is the team right here.
The Jets are fascinating. They're very much like the Browns. It's like you don't know what to expect from the quarterback.
Yep.
It's for different reasons. He's old. But the Jets, if you look at their skill positions, they are loaded with talent. Okay, they don't really have much at tight end. They have 2 okay guys. But you got Breece Hall, he's coming off an injury, but he's practicing, and Dalvin Cook. That's the best 1-2 punch in the NFL, probably.
Yeah.
I'd take that over, assuming they're healthy. I don't know that both are 100% healthy, but if Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall are healthy, that's the best 1-2 punch in the NFL. You got one better?
Unquestioned, I don't think.
Better than Green Bay?
Absolutely.
Which has a good 1-2 punch. That's the best 1-2 punch. Garrett Wilson was phenomenal as a rookie, playing with garbage quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. He's going to be even better. They brought in Alan Lazard, who has developed under Aaron Rodgers. They have that chemistry already.
McCall Hardman.
They got, McCall Hardman's not that good, but
it's a speed threat.
But he's a deep threat. Yeah,
that's the Aaron Rodgers. That is the they keep one of those dudes.
Yeah.
What's the kid from Kentucky? I can't remember. Gosh, it's gonna mess me up if I can't remember it.
Don't know.
Oh my God, Cobb. He's the Randall Cobb. They keep.
Is it Randall Cobb there too?
Yeah, they actually have Randall Cobb too.
They brought in Randall Cobb.
He's the most Randall Cobb except for Randall Cobb.
Right.
He's Randall Cobb 2.0.
But there are some question marks on their offensive line. But again, it comes down to, is Aaron Rodgers still a Pro Bowl caliber player? If he is, then the Jets, like the Browns, I think will go to the playoffs. If he's not, they won't. It's really that simple. It's interesting because Aaron Rodgers clearly showed signs of decline last year.
Yes.
However, I thought Tom Brady did in his last year in New England. And then he was rejuvenated being on a new team with better receivers, and he played like an MVP again. Will Rodgers do the same thing? It's only 2 years ago that he won the MVP.
Rodgers in decline is still a really good quarterback.
Yeah. But he was middle of the road last year.
Yes, he was. But
now I'm saying he could bounce back and be a top 10 guy again this year.
He's still going to be in decline, but Rodgers in decline could still be better than most of the quarterbacks.
Certainly better than what the Jets had last year.
100%.
But the Jets didn't win a lot. The Jets won less games than the Browns last year.
The problem with the Jets is they play in a sneaky tough division too. Bills are good.
Yeah. But
Dolphins,
it's not as good as the North.
Not as good as the North, but Bills and Dolphins are good, and the Patriots will sneak up and beat one of those teams that they shouldn't. So, they play in one of those divisions. That's the key thing with them.
Yeah.
And if Rodgers can be 80%, 85% of what they are, that's still pretty good if they got a running game. If they consistent with the run game, run the play action off that, don't put them in shotgun too much and throw the ball 40 times, they got a good roster, man.
Yeah. Hall and Cook can both catch the ball out of the backfield, too. They should be pretty good. If Rodgers is good, they'll be a good team. I expect them to make the playoffs. That's my expectation.
Yes or no answer before we get to our last two. They finish with the same record, or do the Browns finish with a better record? There's three options. Better, worse, or same for
than the
Browns.
Jets?
Than the Jets.
It's tough because
I didn't
North
see the
is
Jets.
tougher.
Want to see the Jets schedule. I don't know their schedule.
I want to say it's the same, but they actually finish higher because they do better in their division.
They also have a head-to-head week 17.
That's
December
gonna be huge.
28th. It's a Thursday night game.
That's gonna be
prime
huge.
time.
That's gonna be good. That's gonna be a playoff implicated game.
Yeah.
You would think.
Like that game.
That could be last one in type.
Yeah. Yep. Damn it.
All right, you ready? Jet schedule, quickly?
Yeah, quickly.
Week 1, Bills at home.
Okay.
They got the Bills at home.
Hey, run through this quick because we got a bunch of stuff to do.
Week 2, at the Cowboys. Week 3, Jets at home. Week 4, Chiefs at home. Some tough games, but 3 home games. At the Broncos. Eagles at home. At the Giants. Chargers at home.
I'll take the Browns.
Give me the
At
Browns.
the Raiders.
I've heard
At the
enough.
Bills. Dolphins at home. Falcons at home. Texans at home. At the Dolphins. Commanders at home. At the Browns. Their schedule, the back end is much more favorable.
They have
But they got a tough start to the
They
season.
have a brutal schedule
I'll take
and a
the Browns.
head-to-head
Yeah.
against the Browns.
They seem very similar to the Browns, but a tough start. It gets a little easier towards the end. But those two teams are going to be right neck and neck. We have 2 more teams.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, which in the projected simulations, 9.8 wins to Cleveland's 9.1.
I think Jacksonville's too high.
They're going to fall off.
Their division stinks.
I know their division's terrible. I know, but I just don't like that team. I'm not as high.
See,
on
I'm
them.
high on Jacksonville. They got their wide receiving core is really good and underrated.
Who they got? Kirk, Zay.
Calvin Ridley now.
They
I mean,
do
now
have
he hasn't
Ridley.
played for 2 years.
They have Ridley, Christian Kirk.
They got Ridley, Kirk, and
Zay
Zay Jones.
Jones.
who played
Zay
well.
Jones.
They've got a nice backfield with Etienne
Evan
and
Ingram.
Tank Bigsby.
Ingram's a really good tight end, more of a receiver than a traditional tight end.
Right.
Jacksonville feels like Cleveland 2021 to me.
Yeah, but here's the difference. Cleveland 2021 had to play in a
like
good
that.
division. The Jaguars don't.
Yeah, I know.
If
But
they
I
were in another division, I'd be with you. But this division is so bad, I'll be stunned if they don't win their division.
Can I
Stunned.
be honest? I'm buying all the Jacksonville stock.
Me too.
All of it.
I'm all in on Jacksonville.
I think Trevor Lawrence
I think he's a
is
star.
special. Yeah, I do
Yeah.
too. And the addition of Calvin Ridley, even if it takes him a little bit to get going, I'm buying all the I think Jacksonville's going to be really freaking good this year.
I'm
Like,
not
really,
buying
really good.
Jacksonville.
If you had to
a
take
step back.
if you had to take Lamar Jackson or Trevor Lawrence rest of their career, who are you taking?
Trevor Lawrence, you don't even finish that sentence. I'm taking
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence.
I'm taking Lawrence. You guys?
I'm not as high on Lawrence as you guys, but I would probably still take him over Lamar.
I'd have to because he's younger, but
Well, he's not that much younger.
well,
Only a couple of years.
Lamar's way younger than you think he is.
Yeah.
how old is he?
Lamar Jackson, I need a second hand to type.
Yeah.
Lamar's only 26. He's been in the league for, this is going his 5th year. He's only 26 years old.
And Trevor Lawrence is
Trevor's 23. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is young too, but
yeah, but it's not a huge difference.
I would. If you ask me for 1 year, I'm taking Lamar Jackson. If you ask me for the rest of his career, I would probably take Trevor Lawrence.
Steve Becker just asked a good question.
Lawrence or Herbert?
Lawrence or Herbert?
Herbert.
Come on.
I know Herbert. I'd still take Herbert.
I know Herbert. I know you're a little down on him, but come on, man. Justin Herbert
That's
over.
a tough one. I think most people would take Herbert. I would take Lawrence.
I think you're golden with either one.
Yeah, but
If
you
I had to
gotta
pick,
choose.
I'd go with Herbert, but
I get it. Most
think
people
you
would
go
pick
both
Herbert.
ways.
Herbert's probably the right choice. Obviously, he's more proven than Lawrence, but
After this year, I'm just waiting on people to have to say, Who's better, Watson or
hopefully
Watson or Lawrence?
Remember, though, Lawrence was as big a prospect coming out of college as anybody.
Oh, for sure.
Ever.
And Urban Meyer effed him up and effed that whole team up for 1 year. To me, I throw that whole season out the window.
Yeah. Last team, real quick. We'll go through this one quick because I don't think anyone's going to say they're on the same level as the Browns. But Tennessee, they were in the same realm on this projection. But you guys don't think Tennessee is in that same conversation?
By the way, that's a trap game. Tennessee versus the Browns is a trap game on that schedule. They play hard every year.
All right.
I don't think they're garbage. They just don't have a quarterback, but they're well coached.
5-12.
They got a lot of talent outside of quarterback. But I take Cleveland to win.
If Derrick Henry goes over a cliff this year, forget about it.
Yeah. I just drafted Derrick Henry where they.
I don't think he's going to go off the cliff this year, but it's coming.
I mean, but I just in my heart, I'm like,
I think he's got one more big year.
The year I picked Derrick Henry is the year he gets 900 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. Cade York lining up for a 48-yarder week 3.
No,
it's coming.
Can't happen.
It's coming.
Go ahead, Mike.
We're going to move on in a sec. I did ask the YouTube chat, of all the teams we're speaking of, who do you think is the most direct threat to the Browns' playoff chances? So who could it come down to for that last spot potentially? 53% said the Jets. Everything else was kind of scattered around. They were higher on the Dolphins than the Chargers, but the Jets, the primary team they're looking at as the direct, this could be the team, either us or them.
What options did you give?
Miami, Chargers, and Jets.
I think I agree with that.
I would flip-flop Miami and the Chargers. I think the Jets 1, Chargers 2, Miami 3. That's for me.
The Jets had 53, and then the other two were close. So they're
I believe whenever we make official predictions for the season, I don't know if we're going to do it.
We're going to do it next week.
I'm leaning towards the Browns as the 6 seed, the Jets as the 7 seed, the Chargers as the 8 and out, and the Dolphins as the 9 and out.
We will do that next week before the start of the season, I promise. But we got 3 things